In this video, I want to share with you how you can make money by packaging up and selling deals that you don't want to other property investors. So my name is Simon Zutshi. I'm the founder of the Property Investors Network. I'm the author of Property Magic, the Amazon #1 property bestseller. I've been investing since 1995 and teaching other people how to become successful investors since 2003. Now, getting out there and finding great property deals is the most important thing you need to know as a property investor. And I shared that in video #1. In video #2, I talked about the secret that took me 11 years to learn. But once I'd learned it, I was able to double my portfolio in just a year. And that secret is working with and helping motivated sellers. So if you haven't watched those videos, I suggest you go back and watch both of those. It'll make a lot more sense for this third video, where I'm going to teach you that when you get good at finding property deals, obviously you're going to keep the very best ones yourself, but you should be finding more than you can actually do yourself. And so rather than wasting them, I want to teach you how you can take those deals and pass them on to other people to get paid a fee. And typically you can make between £3,000 and £5,000 per property deal that you sell. As a new investor, learning how to find great property deals is probably the most important thing that you need to do right now, because it means you can find deals for yourself that you can invest in. But if you don't have much money, finding great deals and then selling them to other people is a great way of building up a deposit pot so you can then actually go and buy your own properties. So it's really useful to understand this if you are new to property investing. From the first two videos I created, there've been some questions about deal sourcing, and I want to answer those questions in this video to give you some hints and tips about how you can become a successful deal sourcer. So the first problem people have is say, well, Simon, I don't have enough money to invest in property. I don't have enough money to be a deal sourcer. The great news is there are lots of low or no cost ways of sourcing deals. So you don't need to spend a lot of money to actually find deals, as long as you know how to find them in the first place and you know what is a good deal. So you don't need a lot of money to be a deal sourcer. That's great if you're just starting, or even if you're already an experienced investor and you've just run out of your own money. The next thing people say is, Simon, I don't know if I have the time to be a deal sourcer. Well, some of my most successful students are people who actually have got full-time jobs, or they're running their own business. They don't have a lot of time, but the time they do have, they do the right activity to actually help them find the right kind of property deals. When you find really good deals, you get good at that, you'll find more than you can possibly do yourself. As some people say, well, that's very well, Simon, if you live up north, but I live in an expensive area and there are no motivated sellers where I live. Well, the reality is, if you think you can or think you can't, you're absolutely right, as Henry Ford was quoted as once saying. If you believe there are no deals in your area, wherever you live, you're absolutely right. You won't find deals. The reality is there are deals and other people are finding them. So you've got to change the way you think, you've got to change your mindset. There are motivated sellers everywhere, even in really expensive areas, even in London. So one of my clients on my mastermind program, she was a very wealthy lady. She'd sold her IT business for many millions of pounds, and she wanted to buy a property for her to live in central London. Now, there was a particular square that she really liked, and this property came on the market in that square for £7 million. That was within her budget, so she could afford to do that. And she looked at it, she'd negotiated with the owner, and the owner didn't really want to bring down the price. But this was a few years ago, just before the referendum regarding Brexit. So that's kind of relevant really, as we're coming up to the end of trying to find out what's actually going to happen. But what she did was, by using what we taught her, learning how to negotiate and finding this seller who at the time was very worried about what would happen if we left the European Union, that this seller sold the house that was on the market for £7 million for £5.5 million. They took £1.5 million off the price. That's about a 22% discount in prime central London. So my client obviously bought the property and was very, very happy that she had saved so much money. So there are motivated sellers in really expensive areas as well. Now you might be thinking, well, that's very well, Simon, but I'm never going to buy a £5.5 million property. And you might do, or you may not, but that's not the point. You see, there are people who do want to buy those. You think if someone wants to buy a house and that's the kind of budget they spend. And would you like to pay 7 million or 5.5? I think 5.5 would be the answer they'd want to say. So therefore, even if you don't want to do that deal, there are people who do want to do those deals, and at a 2% finder's fee, you'd make £100,000 selling that one deal to that person who'd like to buy that property at a discounted rate. So there are motivated sellers, whether expensive area, cheap area, everywhere there are these motivated sellers. It's about you knowing how to find them. When you find them, speaking to them, negotiating, finding a win-win solution, and then once you've got a deal, finding someone to pass it on to. So how do you find people to sell deals to? It's often a question I'm asked. Well, if you go to network meetings, there are people who come to that who've got money, who they're coming along because they want to learn how to invest, but they don't necessarily have the time or the knowledge or the inclination to find deals. And if you stand up and say, hey, I'm sourcing deals in so-and-so area, people with money will be attracted to you, and some of those people you can potentially work with. Also going to property seminars. People go to property seminars because they want to learn how to invest. And once they've learned how to do it, sometimes people say, well, that's all very well, but it seems too much like hard work. And they'd rather pay you a fee to go and find deals for them rather than do it themselves. And another great tip, which comes from one of my colleagues, a guy called Hanif Khan, who's a prolific deal sourcer. He said he used to go to auctions. Look for people who are bidding on property, but for whatever reason, they're not prepared to go as high as the property goes for. So they've got money in their pocket, burning a hole. They were looking to buy a property, and unfortunately, they've been unsuccessful. Those people are great people who might want to work with you so they don't have to compete with everyone else in the room, in the auction room, and get deals direct from you. So this is how you find people. Look in places where people are trying to learn about property, people are trying to buy property, but maybe they're not doing it as successfully as they could do, and maybe you can help them and you get rewarded very well. I want you to think about this for a minute. If you were to source and sell just 2 deals a month, which can be done very much part-time, and you're getting an average of, say, £4,000 per deal, it will vary between 3,000 and 5,000 typically, but let's say the average is 4,000, and you sold 2 a month, that would be £8,000 a month, or £96,000 a year. That's not bad for a part-time income. And obviously, when you find really good deals, you want to be doing the deals yourself. When you get good at finding deals, people will lend you money. They'll want to invest with you. So even if you don't have your own funds, you can maybe do joint ventures where you share some of the profit and the cash flow. Or maybe do private loans where people lend you the money and then you refinance it to get the money out and pay it back to them. And you retain 100% of the property with none of your own money invested. It all comes down to knowing how to find great deals, getting out there, speaking to motivated sellers, solving their problems, and then the deals that you don't want, package up and sell to other people that you've met at property training and networking events. So let me tell you about a couple of people who've done our training and what they've actually been able to achieve. So first of all, there's Stephen Pyfinch based in Nottingham. Steve was looking for great deals himself, but realized he couldn't buy everything he was finding. So using the strategy we taught him, he set up a company packaging and selling deals. And one of his recent deals was a property he found. He controlled it with an option, put it into an auction, and in an auction, he made £18,000. So he wasn't even buying the property, just selling it on, flipping it, making £18,000 of profit. Pretty cool, right? And then we've got Richard Lyons. So Richard did our training last year, and he took a couple of months. It started in October, took a couple of months. By December, he had found his first deal. He followed what we taught him. He went out and found some investors. He's now sourced and sold 10 deals, averaging about £4,000 profit per deal. And that's pretty good in about a 6 or 7 month period. So if you want to be doing this, I want to share with you on my next video how you can become a more successful deal source. Whether you're brand new at property or experienced, you should be packaging up deals that you don't want and selling them to other people. So I'll explain that on the next and final video. In the meantime, if you've got any questions, please do post them below. If you like the videos, please share them on your social media. And as ever, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. Thanks for watching.